You are now tuning in to Lex and RDDC broadcast station, serving up on the double doses for us all.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host, Lex, coming to you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live. Thank you for tuning in and everything that you do with your hearts, because here, serving a slice of everyday life is what RDDC is all about. For any show requests, feedback, or anything under the sun, as we always say, you can check us out at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's YANDEX.com, and as well as realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. You can find all the links and so much more throughout the pages itself and the tune stations, we call them, and as well as the About Me section and the books and the links below. Don't forget to sign up for the free travel and gift card giveaways, as you all have and have claimed, and much, much more to come. You can also check us out, if you're not already there, on TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, Blueberry.com, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, SoundCloud, so much more, Deezer, and you know the name of the game. So without further ado, we have a wonderful guest expert on here, and a wonderful Pisces too. I just might want to add that up, and that is Linwood. You know what it is. Okay, this is Lex here. Linwood Jackson Jr. Now, Linwood Jackson Jr. is an author writing on mental and spiritual health and on its life-altering benefits. He is someone who believes on the power of the Bible's words, amen, when sincerely exercised and studied. Through his books, speeches, and discourses, he encourages us to think and feel for self, that self-love may bloom into self-possession through the knowledge acquired from experience. This, he says, betters the personal and devotional life, not only for the person, but also for them all around. And that's the truth. Facts. Don't forget that. So, how are you doing, Mr. Linwood Jackson Jr.? How are you feeling?
I'm doing more than fine.
Oh, I'm glad that you're on here. Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've had you a couple times, actually. But today on the show, everyone, I know everyone's going to be emailing at this point. Lex, did you really...
What goes on that set, actually? What goes on back?
There's a lot of things that go on, and I'm sorry, everyone. I know thousands of you are downloading this right now, but we had to come out and tell the truth. So now, you know, Mr. Linwood Jackson Jr. is the one that's been sitting there just, having the greatest conversations of them all and so much more. And this is a wonderful, wonderful, beyond guest, I can call him, because I'm going to, literally force him into coming back here over and over. And I'm sorry it took so long, but he's here now. So
it did take long. It's crazy. Our vibe didn't even hit until 2,000 years later. So at least we're here now.
That's how you feel, really? I mean, did it really feel? I think honestly, though, if people picked up the phone a lot more and did that without just emailing or a text message, I think it cuts off that feeling. I mean, because you either know who you're clicking with or you don't.
True.
Yes. And this is someone that I'm very sad to let go of, but at the same time, we'll make sure we straddle him back in, hopefully. So, yeah.
That's because, the vibe, when you talk about mental and spiritual health, kind of vibe on that, the same mission of not just an internal, well-being. We just want to give that to other people, because you just know what you're born for when you go through certain things. Yeah,
that is true. I mean, obviously, your insight and your level of the Bible's wisdom, from what I've gathered off of conversating with you and the different things that we went through, it goes super hella deep.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and I will say this, I don't know where you are in life, everyone, those who are new, those who are coming aboard, but I will say that it's not something that people are going to tread softly on when there's something to be said that's the truth. And obviously, I'm very I'm just more inquisitive about it. So in your discussion of what your fruitfulness is when it comes down to the Bible's wisdom, where would you take us on that journey?
I would take, I always like to take my listeners to the fact that in order to get to who you are and who you should be, you have to abandon, since our foundation is the Bible, or my foundation is the wisdom that's in the Bible, abandoning the concepts, literally, of religious tradition and of what you think you know about what the Bible says and about what you think you should be according to what the Bible says you think you should be. All of it is just passed down, and it's gotten to the point now when we hear the word God, we see our mother's face in our head.
Yeah.
Or when we hear the word God, we see our best friend in our head. So it's not actually that we're worshiping God or we're disappointing God. It's like we're disappointing our mother. We're disappointing our best friend. We have no clue about what the words of the Bible are saying, and that's my thing.
Oh.
My thing is that we have to know for ourselves personally, because we are individual governments. Like, I'm not you, you're not me, that they're not you. Our essences are completely different. Although we're like 1 billion people on Earth, every essence is different, and every different essence has a specific tribe that's meant for that essence. So if we can cultivate who we are supposed to be through the counsel and the words that are in the Bible, we can reach the essence that we're supposed to reach, and then call it a day. When we're done with this life, our essence can live on. It can influence and inspire whoever else comes after us. Exactly. To perfect that essence.
You know, to be such a very intuitive young man.
Oh, no, it doesn't sound like it's going anywhere positive.
Just wanted to say, like the uniqueness of the characteristics of just your brain. Okay, it's very astounding. Very astounding. And you always have to speak #truth, because a lie does not care who tells it. I repeat that. #a lie does not care who tells it. #yes, #facts. Okay, we're doing a lot of hashtags at this very moment. And I want to know, like, a lot of people ask me, hey, well, what made RDDC come about? Where did it come from? Why do you feel it? What do you want? And I'm like, how can I break this down? So the question I have to ask to you, and that hundreds or thousands might more, what is your stimulation besides the strongest one that there is? What really made you feel like, hey, people need to really start waking up and open up their eyes and kind of getting to the point of what you were just saying? Like, what gives you that rocket, like, fuel?
For me, it got to the point where a couple years ago, I needed to understand why I don't have knowledge of self-love, why I don't love myself. How come I'm not born with knowledge?
Oh.
Like, why don't I know to do what I need to do in order to love myself, in order to make myself industrious, in order to preserve who I am for the possible wife that I should have and possible kids that I should have? How come I don't know anything about the foundation that I am? Why don't I have this knowledge in me? And also, going to school, I graduated college in 2012, and I was kind of upset because I was told to go and I didn't have the actual inspiration to go, so I wasted my time, and I knew that I wasted my time, and I was looking for an outlet to, punish myself, I guess. I chose bodybuilding. I loved the pain of the feel of the gym, so I killed myself in the gym. I did a bunch of supplements and whatnot. I was supposed to do a bodybuilding show. I got to that point, and right when I was going to do it, I ended up in the hospital. I had hurt myself. Yeah, a damage called the vagal nerve. It's a nerve in the brain that controls the heart, the lung, the intestine.
Oh no, are you okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell you, the diet I learned in the Bible actually helped me to return to actually being healthy.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so all of that I went through, and I began to just question why I would rather choose to abuse myself than to actually look myself and to think about how I can improve myself. And so I realized I didn't have any love for me, and I wanted to know why, and I looked at different philosophies, and nothing was really suitable, and I wasn't somebody raised with the Bible like that, but you always have that background, and I kind of just dug into the Bible. I looked at the philosophy, I wrote it down, what I was going through, and that turned out to be my first book, Perfecting and Reforming Personal Religion. The experience I went through while sick, getting healthy, and both mentally and physically. And just writing that down and just going through those steps. That book is like a book of step-by-step counsels of what you can do to become first inwardly healthy so that you can care for your physical self.
Wow.
That was my beginning.
That was beautiful. Man, that seems like quite a scare and quite a journey. Yeah. I mean, that's wow. I'm like, that must have been something else, especially to damage that kind of nerve that controls all your vital organs.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then and then meanwhile you got people looking at me because I'm still walking around, I'm still breathing. They're looking at me like nothing's wrong with me. So
wow.
And it's like they're seeing you, like, but they can't see you. Like, they see you, but they can't see you.
Yeah, I like what you said about I like what you said about being able to have yourself well, I guess bodybuilding is so much more you were mentioning. And I remember, and I think it's Eric, the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas. I love him either way. But he was saying something one time, and he goes, everyone is chasing to go upgrade their phones, upgrade what's going on with their new hairstyles. And like you and I were talking earlier, the nails, all this stuff. But they're not upgrading themselves. You know,
Yeah.
you really, and when you think of the self, so many people are detached from that. So many people are like, oh, you only watch a movie once a year. Okay, but at the end of the day, yeah, I would probably like to sit down 2 or 3 times a week and have something to take my mind off of it.
But there's so many other better things.
Yeah, there's so many different things to accomplish. So yeah, I probably get through about 5 movies a year if I'm lucky. But I know how to pause and play and pause and play and pause and play. But I look at that and I'm thinking, yeah, you have to be able to replenish inside, because I start getting like that too, to where I'm just sitting here like, man, how much damage am I doing to myself? How many things am I doing every day from not doing what I know I'm supposed to do, or have the balance that I'm supposed to have? Like, what is it out there? And I'm glad that you had to say that. And I'm happy that you made it through what you did.
Well, I mean, I owe all of my health, and that's what keeps me so in tune to not to the concepts that religious tradition puts out and continually revises and gets absolutely nowhere. I'm in tune with what the Bible teaches because of that experience, and that's what advances my understanding of what's in the Bible, and also me relating to it and it relating to me. And that's the most important thing I try to get across to people whenever I speak, is that you have a conscience. It's true that we're raised in a realm of religious tradition, and that is our conscience. But there comes a point where we, even as physical beings, we grow up and we mature. Our faith is the same way. Our faith is a little child that has to be raised with the same kind of exact care, because it has to mature and it has to be able to take care of us. The way when we get older, we have to start taking care of us and no longer rely on our parents. So it's that kind of like dichotomy that I try to get everyone to realize, is that, you are a mental and spiritual being naturally, and the only peace we have as human beings is to get that in order, and then everything else will take care of itself.
Balance.
Legit.
Complete harmony and balance. And that's what, honestly, I don't feel like oil and water with you. And sometimes you can have oil and water and it still tries to, combine itself in this molecular structure together. But when I speak to you, I feel like it's more of that Zen understanding of what really is going on. You know what I mean? Because when you have, people always say, well, why do I feel so relaxed in nature? You feel relaxed in nature because nature is relaxed with you. And at the end of the day, nature is balanced. And why is nature balanced? Because nature is balanced by the creation and the creator of all things. It is balanced by the word and the spoken word of all that is. When everything was formed and given that life, it was all balanced. The only thing that was made above it is us.
Imagine if you live by those words.
Yeah. And if we have the choice to go start a forest fire with Smokey the Bear, if we have that, hey, well, let me go out here and just burn a bush because I want to, or let me go out here and decide to do some crazy stuff. It's almost like that part of us, whether it be Cain and Abel or whatever part we want to say, it's always something in us that's itching to do wrong because we can't see the right within us. And it's almost like we want to see the darkness before we see the light, because we were formed in the darkness from the light. Now, if people start looking at that, and someone said that, well, this is a good one. This is the one I told you about this too, and I have said this many times on RDDC. My good, beautiful, blossoming flower. Okay, even though he cannot see the light within himself, he has been able to spark more of the light that the Creator put inside of me. And I will say that because he had asked me a question about a week ago. He was doing his own thing and he says, hey, I got a question for you, Lex. And I said, well, what's that? He said, would you trust a flower that was grown in the dark? And I looked at him for a moment and I had to think really quickly, because I'm like, this is, my mind wants to go on 20 different levels, so like to break it down like the Matrix, but I know other people won't take it that way. They'll be like, oh, she really didn't feel that way. And I'm like,
red pill, blue pill,
I'm like, wait, this is a trick question. So I'm like, I said, of course I would. He goes, and he just kind of looked, he was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, of course I would. I said, it depends on who planted the seed. Now, that's the whole thing. You could always trust something that's been made in the dark, but is it cyanide? Or is it something that's going to give your system something, going for the harvest? Like I tell people a lot, I had to look at myself for that too, because it's almost that instant gratification. Well, I'm reading this and I'm doing this and I don't see a change in my life. This must not be working. Let me go back to what has not been working so it can still not work. But at the same time, if we realize something, every farmer or every person that planted a seed, or if someone got pregnant last night and had their baby the next day, do you imagine what the world would be like? Right? And for farmers, it might be okay, but the earth would never have rest. Now, they had created a tree now that it can harvest and have like 6 or 7 different kinds of fruit. It never rests. There's only one part or two part that rests, but at the same time I looked at that and I'm like, it's beautiful to see oranges and apples and different papayas sitting there by each other. But it wasn't made for that. It was made to rest. Everything needs rest. And that's the whole thing. We need to rest within ourselves, because as long as that we're living, and I'm just piggybacking off of Mr. Linwood Jackson Jr. Pisces said, I'm like, had to throw that in there. But I'm saying as long as that we're not living who we really are inside, it's basically never resting. We're never resting because we're always falling forward into not knowing who we really are. Not knowing who that truly explosion is. It's not the point of going on here and getting your nails done and all of a sudden having a whole show of a whole different identity. It's the whole understanding of who you are to begin with, because you can't really label yourself as any kind of thing or any kind of identity whatsoever if you're always in a crisis. I mean, that's the truth. We're always in a state of crisis when we're not closer to who we are. I just want to put that out there, salt and sugar.
Since a child, like, that's who we are. Like, when we're growing up, our home life is all we know. Yeah. And then we get into the educational system and then we're taught another culture. And then we go back home and then we know that culture. We go back to school and we know that culture. But in the midst of that kind of transition, we get lost. And so we don't even know who we are because our home culture and our school culture has been dictating to us who we think we should be.
That's true.
And then, I'm speaking for myself, you get to the age of 21 and you're about to graduate college and you go, damn, I'm an educated dummy right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry you called yourself that, but yeah. I'm sorry. No, I see where you're coming from, though, because if you look at that, you get that school life, you get that home life, and then if you have any other organizations you're associated with, you go hang out with your friends, you got to be a certain way with them or not know how the, fit in. You go to a little event, I don't want to just put church event or after school event or a neighborhood event. You got to be a certain way with them. And then you get a chance to know yourself behind closed doors when you think nobody's watching. So where do you fit in?
Right.
Yeah.
And then, it takes a kind of a dramatic event in your life to get you to realize, wow, I'm a person. And then by the time you're like 21 and that happens to you, it's like you're 2 years old again. You have to relearn how to be reborn. Except this time mentally, and that's when the fun begins.
That's when the
I say fun because it's not that fun when you're in the body, but or in the mind. But getting accustomed to a new breath of life, it's just so interesting, this life, and the words that I've picked up from the Bible and the influence that they've had on my person. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like I've always been a chill person. And I've always been like, I could really just care less about nothing. But like, the words make me care for my own well-being in a way that I'm anxious to understand how it is I can edify my own mind to love me so that I can love you. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is so beautiful. Oh, I mean, it almost gave me a super tear in my eye right now. It was beautiful. I'm a mushy person. I can't help it. That is beautiful. That is true. And I was contesting to even say I love anybody before then. All the I love yous that I gave before I really had to spiritually die and come back to understanding, it didn't, of course you say it to your parents and different ones, but really, I really never loved anyone because I never really knew to love myself. And that's the
That's
truth
where
of
it
it.
is.
Yeah, and the same people are like, oh, this self-love. Yeah, I mean, some people take it as getting a massage and a mimosa. Some people take it as doing this and that, but it's a whole different level of gratification, of the confirmation of knowing yourself and getting that, quote, information. I'm just saying, when you have that, it's that when people say, oh, what's this powerful energy and this, oh, you're so lovely and so vivacious. No, I don't look at that. I'm like, well, you're only taking it in a uniform way of what you know from what the world has shown you. But you don't know it from the inner world that was created before the outer world ever existed. The thing that makes me stay up at night the most, and it's kind of scary to say, but it's still beautiful in its own majestic way, is the creator themselves. Right? When I think of all that and the beginning of the heavens and the earth, I think, man, who is my father? Like, not in the fact of who is my father, but I can't wait to be in this whole understanding of where everything kind of emits from. But then I look into it and I realize the kingdom of heaven is within me. And it's a whole different way. It's not a dominating way. It's not a whole I am the Matrix way with Keanu Reeves. This is a whole, like, I mean, I've had experiences where I literally have just touched the finger of God. And I mean that in so much a profound way. I told people, once you get to that level, once you get to a level to where you're literally on that point, and I'm telling you, if there's anything that I can believe, I believe all the steps that led me in my life to where I was is exactly where I need to be now for what is. And that's the whole beautiful, and I feel that now. I'm like, man, why would a person look at them? I'm a beggar, I'm a tax collector, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a vagabond, I'm a whore. All of these things, well, sometimes those are the real people in different ways who have been shaken from their hardcore exteriors of who they think they are. In a different kind of way. You know, some people will go around with their suit and ties and pretend that's it. Some people will go around with their fancy little this and that and just say that's what it is. And some people have had the dirt end of life that wake them up in a whole different way that can be utilized by the spirit of all things because they're more awakened to a whole nother side of things itself, and they're more susceptible to having things kind of reopen their minds in a different understanding. I'm not saying that you got to go through a hard, horrible life in order to experience that, but it gives you more of an understanding of what life is all around instead of what, well, society has painted it up to be, kind of thing, you know.
True.
Yeah.
That painting, I tell you.
What about the painting? Tell me about the painting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but what do you feel has been the most, like, profound? I mean, even beyond the profoundness you've already told us. But what do you believe and you feel as though it has, like, injected itself into your personal life, your work life, like the invigoration behind it and within it?
Well, just as you said, rest. In the aspect of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, from the Bible's point of view, the definition of rest actually means knowledge. You know, we think of rest, we think of like going to sleep, or we think of sitting down, or we think of rest as inactivity, but according to the Bible, the Bible defines rest as a very high mental activity. And it's called rest because through that very high mental activity, you're putting your thoughts at ease by the knowledge you're coming into.
Ah, touche.
Yeah. See, that's Bible language.
That's my Pisces. That's my Pisces. That's my Pisces, everyone. Yes. They'll probably think you're just some hidden gem I've been sitting on all this time. I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this episode coming.
I'll take it. because it's rare, you know. We need to know this because, you know, there's some people walking around saying, you know, I'm resting right now, but the real definition of rest is high mental activity for spiritual rejuvenation and mental rejuvenation, and that
okay. Yeah, you broke it down another level. Yeah, they're gonna get me for thinking I've been hiding you this whole time. I mean, because I'm like, they're probably like, man, your chemistry is on fire. Like, how did you not get him?
Where did he come from?
I've been hiding him, RDC families. I've been hiding
bringing
him
out the dungeon. Yo, I am under the RDDC.
Yeah, you know what? Look, you are a
PTA.
part of it officially. You're not going nowhere. Don't worry, Mr. Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson, but I'm for real. I'm for real. He's not going nowhere right now. But that's the truth. That rest. You see, you know what? You have my mind just articulating and going into overdrive in a different way. I thought about that. You know, I've heard that in a different way because every time that it came down to what I knew growing up as rest, which was, you know, either when you lay down for the end of the day or sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. And it felt like my mind wanted to do some deep knowledge sinking. You know, the whole, when people say they meditate, I don't know what they do and where they go to, but my mind goes directly into the source. And I used to be really, really deep into that, but the more clutter, the more damage I had into my brain. I call it damage because, I mean, I can't get a break. I mean, Linwood, I really can't. I cannot get a break whatsoever to save my life. And it's so weird from my like super, super high spiritual foundation and vibration from where I came from. I tell people I've only been alive for roughly 5 years, and that's the truth. I don't even mean it metaphorically.
Exactly.
I don't mean it by baptismal. I'm just like, yeah.
I just said that too.
Yeah, like the last 5 years, I've been alive almost. I mean, this coming Thanksgiving will be my 5th year anniversary with being alive. Mm-hmm. And I mean that. I tell people sitting, and it's not the point, okay, people out there, we have to have so many disclaimers. I'm just saying, it's not the point of speaking about religious matters or church. I'm saying from where I came from, being able to understand that. And still, I'm glad to have the word in front of me, but I never felt as though I could walk with my Creator. I felt like as though I was the sinner who was, you know, who needed to constantly be glorified and admit these sins and remember and remind myself. But that's just like a prisoner waking up every day in the prison cell.
It's not real.
Yeah, you realize, whoa, I'm still in prison. I did this crime 7 years ago and I'm still here. I don't believe that's what this beautiful entity of all things wanted for us. That's like a child. You don't want your child to wake up every day in his soiled blanket knowing that, you know, he didn't use the potty correctly. That's just torture. You know, you want to be able to clean them up and give them another chance to walk and learn. And that's how I felt. Like I'm still brand new to it, but I'm still willing to go through it. And that's the whole understanding of where I came from the rest. My mind is hungry. My spirit is. If I could just meditate and walk all day long in this spiritual realm, like with my Lord, at least that I know, that would be like the best refreshment I have. And then when I got to come back down to earth, that's when I get depressed. Where I'm like, wait, I got to come back down to earth, literally put my shoes on and go downtown to earth. Like I don't want to, because I have to be around so many people. And you know, it's not their fault. A lot of them aren't, but the truth is out there. And now there's not really many excuses for a lot of people to be seeking that, but you have to willingly be ready to seek it. It doesn't mean you can constantly embrace it at the moment, but you have to be willing to at least show up to the fountain. You know, someone can't make you drink it, but they sure can dunk your head in it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
just kidding.
Some of us have more methods. I'm not saying nothing against your method, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, like, I mean, you can't, what do they say? You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. I get you.
It's true, though. Like, what you're saying is absolutely true. And it just comes down to the mind that you have. The creative, innovative mind really does not mind repeating the same simple things over and over and over again until it's comprehended.
Yeah.
And we're so accustomed to religious tradition placing our mind in such an easy place because its teachings are just like ensures, you know, they're supposed to be nutritional foods that we take to help us gain strength when we know that we can't. But what you're saying is absolutely on point. Like, how long are you going to sit with those words until you actually grasp it? That's the innovation behind self-healing. And that's the most important thing. It's like, just like you said, walking with that essence that you've been given from your newly found mental and spiritual health. Yeah. That's the beauty of life, to me.
And I feel myself getting more, and this is what I tell people, I'm humanized. You're making me toxic. And a lot of people will say, why do you gotta say it's so diabolical, Lex? I'm just like, well, you know, I feel like, man, you're humanizing me. And what I mean by that is I feel stupefied in the different ways of where I used to be. I don't want to remember the old person that has passed on, because you can't bring up something that's already gone. You can try to reminisce and so forth, but I look at the same thing in my diet. Now, when I was in that spiritual essence, and I believe, oh my gosh, I know this had to be, it was more than the law of attraction. Writing down everything I wanted, from the contract to the house and everything, and the woman's home that I got a chance to live in, which was basically one of the mini mansions of California, which I don't even know how the pricing happened, everything. But the first thing I noticed in her house was, as for this house, we serve the Lord. That was my official cue out of all the 24 places I looked at staying at the hotel for 6 weeks. That's a lot of money racked up in 6 weeks at $150 a day plus a rental car for a whole month straight. Yeah, that's a lot. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I looked at it and it was her, Susan. I love you. You're listening out there. And I still talk to them to this day, but I looked at it like, man, she would come to my door in the morning with fresh strawberries and white peaches and nectarines. And she's an accountant, or head accountant at the hospital. So the CEO, she used to go up there and she'd come with like so many avocados and fresh vegetables. And I was like sitting there eating and trying different things I've never tried before. Everything tasted differently, especially when I got a chance to transition over. And now, I'm not going to blame it on where I'm at now, but I'm just saying, in the Midwest, I find myself kind of taking shortcuts that are making me sick. Where it's like, oh, I'm not going to go get the asparagus and something else. And I told people, it's not a health fad. It's the truth. It's not the point. We already have to deal with GMOs and modified different things going on. But at the same time, why am I going to get something that's completely dead food? Because it's quick. You think about it. Everywhere you go, there's somewhere for someone to get dead food to make you feel dead instead of alive. There's a lot of places that charge a lot of money, charge different things, different taste buds. But you think about it, it's quicker to pick up something that has no kind of life, living energy in it than it is to have something that has nourishment and life. You have to put more work into it to a certain point, but it still gives you more sustainability. And if you think about it, the route is going to be a wide road, and the narrow road is always going to lead to that, and the word says it itself, because the narrow road is where you have to put more definition and focus into staying focused on that road. The wide road is big enough for everyone to fit on, because it's like cows going to slaughter, sheep to the slaughter. Your eyes are wide closed. And that's what I had to think about. I'm like, man, my health, yeah, it's nice to be a voluptuous woman. I love that in my own way. But eventually down the line, if it gets to that point where I'm just like, oh, I don't have time, I'm going to go pick up a pizza. Oh, if I don't have time, let me do this. That's the way it is. I don't have time to spend time with my creator. I don't have time for this right now. Let me give 5 minutes over here. Eventually, I'm going to be the walking dead in all way, shape, and form. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm just saying, that's my last little keynote.
Yo, just notice you've been throwing out some real good points on all of them. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, well, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That's you have these, you make these points available for me to make key points on, because I'm like, man, yeah, it triggered my mind to something. It triggered me to something else. And honestly, when they say where there's more than one in my name, more than two, say the game. That's what it is. At the end of the day, that's where it is. A lot of people are just away from anything that has to do with work because they feel so boggled down with what is. I have to go to work, I have to pick up the kids. But just remember to do something, everyone. Stop and say thank you for what you think you're thankful for. Because honestly, we're not really thankful at all as much as we say we are. Because if we gave as much dedication and time to the purpose of our life and to the reasons of why we're still breathing and to the reasons of why we have what we have to complain about, we would know that we really aren't thankful for much and we really don't love much at all. So
we would also be grateful for life even more.
Yeah. That's what I think about. And I feel very bad. I know that I'm not saying that the creation wants me to feel that way, but I feel bad enough to start doing more about it. And even if one of you, like our motto is 1 equals 1 million, to where if one of you make the ripple effect to 1 million, that's fine. We see the stats. I love all you and all you who are coming that do your downloads and so much more. But at the end of the day, it's who it resonates with. Who's willing to move forward with it? Who's willing to be the change of their own lives in their own way and to affect other people as well? So what I want to say to you, Mr. Linwood Jackson Jr. Pisces, is this wonderful thing. I know we've kept each other for a little while. I've kept him because I'm scared to let him go. But is there anything that you want to give to anyone out there right now on your part 1? Because you will be part 17. You don't even know.
You will.
But part 20. We'll leave it at 17 right now, so he feels okay. We'll see 25 later. So if you want to leave anybody with the last food for thought for now to the family and the new ones coming on.
I'm just gonna piggyback off of what you just said. Be an innovator. Innovation comes from the fact that you have to, if you're willing to sit down and point by point replay those points by point, that can lead to a type of mental health that is intended to be inside of us. Like, there's too much around us that makes us forget to be empathetic. The true definition of charity is empathy. And by going point by point to understand who we are as people, as self, who our self is without what we think our self is, that opens us up to feel more about another person's needs, to edify their minds so that they can get themselves going in a more self-sufficient way. Self-possession, possessing self to love self, to give self. It just starts by being so careful with the little things, and especially when it comes to the words that are in the Bible, to be careful with those words, point by point, to actually live them, to feel them, to grow by them, to let them make you cry, to get frustrated with them, but to not give up and to keep pressing them into you, to get that full point, even if it's just like that one grain that helps you build up a couple more grains to build your own bread to feed yourself. It's just that one little point that will help you understand who you are to help another person understand who they are. So that's the last point I would just leave with whoever's listening.
His number 1 out of 17, that is. So, yeah.
I love how you cut in with that one.
Just saying, he thinks he's gonna get away. Everybody, you don't even know. If you know Lex, he's not going nowhere. So he's not. We come out with my Aries aggressions right now, But I mean, it's a beautiful point, and not to not throw it over. But it's wonderful. It's amazing. It's beautiful, and I'm glad. I'm elated. I'm happy that I had a chance to finally meet my reflection in the mirror. So I'll put it that way. I mean, it's very, very hard to find another shooting star. And it's very, very hard to find the one that fell. So, I mean, and that means a lot to me. And everyone, all thousands or whoever's listening at this moment, it means a lot to me because I've been looking for Linwood for a very long time. And I mean that more ways than one. And if it took me or the team doing what they did for him to finally come along, sorry. I'm like, I'm happy that he did because you don't understand, like, the type of energy and the type of spirit that he holds, and all of you can still have that resignation with. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and if you know the journey, you understand the story. So that's what I will say. But without further ado of having that, I want to thank you, Mr. Linwood Jackson Jr. Pisces, for being on here. You like how slick that was?
I love how you slipped that in. Like, I wait for it every time. Now, when I hear the lid, I'm waiting for the Pisces.
Oh my goodness. I've learned from the best, everyone. Come on now. So I want to thank you. We want to thank you for being on here with us at the Real Double Dose channel. And we will have you back again. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to force it. We will have him back again, everyone. I'm hoping that he'll agree to it right now. But I just want to thank all you for tuning in and everything that you do. Again, you can check us out at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's yandex.com. And as well as realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. If you didn't catch it the first time, if you can, rewind it and you'll get it. But you can always find the links over at the Blogspot or our SoundCloud page. And don't forget to check out Mr. LinwoodJacksonJr.com. That's www.linwoodjacksonjr.com. You can check out more of the information out there in his books and so much more. And if you also have inquiries, remember to get a hold of us as well at theyandex.com, and we'll hook you up with that too. And don't forget to check out the blogspot.com, where he'll have a dedicated page with all his information. And once again, we love you. And as well as remember, as we always say, to be the change, feel the passion, and embrace the power of that wonderful spirit, because it's always calling from within you. We love you. You're amazing. Thank you for being with us. And we'll be back with you very, very, very soon.